The Kick and Makeup MMA show is brought to you by Neon Energy Drink. Light it up.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Well, I'm going. Go on, man. Can I kick it?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Kick and Makeup Show. I'm the American Hybrid Nick Cunningham. With me, as always, Jeremy JD Dorsey. We are live here at our home here at Analog Arcade Bar, 302 Brady Street, Davenport, Iowa. I still look down at the page like I don't know the address yet. I just don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, you don't want to mess it up.
Right, because so if you're listening and you're in town, in the Quad Cities, in Illinois, get down here, stop what you're doing, put our episode on pause. Check out these games. It's actually quite a cool vibe right now.
It is. It's
I like
smooth.
it.
It's smooth.
It's nice, man. You know,
It's smooth.
It's nice and smooth, like you said. It's
This
come
is
on,
second-
man. Have
this-
a, you know.
This is the second week in a row they've been kind of
Yeah.
playing the old school a little bit in the background as opposed to the normal, a little more hardcore hip hop,
Yeah.
or at least old school hardcore hip hop. But
Yeah, I like it,
I'll
man.
take this.
I like
though.
it.
I'll take it.
So thank you to Analog and everybody for letting us come down here. Awesome new home. Gotta say thank you to our sponsor of the show, Neon Energy Drink. Go to www.glowenergy.neonenergyclub.com. Delicious, man. I said it last show that I wanted some for this show. Sent us the kind people at Neon Energy Drink were so kind. I'm saying it all the time. Extra kind to send us a case, and man, they're delicious. So thank you. Check out the website. This is the Kick and Makeup show. We're gonna get our particulars out of the way. But first, man, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just ready to do this. We had a pretty eventful week.
We did, man.
As far as MMA is concerned, I want to give a shout out to all the Twitter folks for granting us with a bunch more followers. All my
Thank
Team
you guys.
MMA for Life people. I told you I'd give you guys a shout out, so there's your shout out for sure. Big shout out to Niall. Talked to him for a long time. Guy from Ireland, man. Big Conor McGregor fan. Big MMA fan. So we had some real in-depth conversations,
One
man.
Direction guy? Niall from One Direction
No,
Sure,
I don't
maybe.
know.
It could have been. We don't know.
Maybe it was.
We've met him before already.
Yeah,
so maybe that.
Maybe that's why he talked to me so much,
I
because he
think
kind of knew
probably.
me.
Can we just say that it was?
Okay.
Without getting in trouble?
Yeah, I don't think we get in trouble.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
If it wasn't, if you're a different Niall, just let me know.
Right.
But until you tell me
It
that,
probably
we're
wasn't
just
him.
gonna
All right.
until he says that, we're just gonna roll with it.
All right.
Cool. All right.
You guys also might wonder why we're having a show today, as we had one last week.
Right.
And we're usually having it, every other week. You're welcome. Let me just say first, you're welcome. And you're welcome for a few reasons. Number one, there was so much MMA this weekend that we had to have some sort of show. Also, I've got plans on the 15th for Valentine's Day. I'm just going to throw myself under the bus or whatever to say it.
Wow.
I've got plans. So, I know I'm not the only one on the 15th that has plans watching this show. So that's why I said, fellas, you're welcome. You're welcome. Now you can focus on your girl, focus on your wife, whoever, and make her Valentine's Day the best it could be. Ladies, you're also welcome. Now your men are going to be glued to their laptops or TV watching the Kick and Makeup show instead of giving you guys your love. So, you're welcome.
It works out for everybody. I mean, I kind of feel like I would have been like, yo, hey baby, I got a show to do, and I don't care if it's Valentine's Day or not. I'm doing my show.
I like Valentine's Day better. I like Valentine's Day. It's
I don't care.
time for Valentine's Day.
I don't care. See, I mean, had to go with the pronouncing it Valentine's Day is kind of soft. So
I
if
like
you get gruff,
Yeah.
you got to go Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It's nice, man.
Yeah, I
I
know.
feel like we need a little. See, this is even this song
it
too,
is,
man.
It is.
I just hear Bootsy Collins saying "Happy Valentine's Day, baby." Like, there we go.
We got to get him to come one day.
Yeah.
Bootsy, I know you're watching, bro. Come on out. Hang out with us.
So yeah. So that is why we're doing the show today.
That's a good idea, too, man. That really is a good idea. He thought of it before I thought of it. I was just going to say forget it all and let's have a show and probably get into an argument because I'm doing the show and not hanging out with my wife. But
I'm argued out, man. argued out.
I
Man.
understand.
Like I'm trying to make things work on all levels, and this seemed to make sense. And doing the notes for the show, I'm like, man, good thing we did, because there's a lot to talk about. Before we get into that, let's get the particulars out of the way. This is the Kick and Make Up show. www.kickandmakeup is the website. Check it out for all of our past shows. Pictures, goofy stuff from the summer of UFC in Milwaukee. Just, man, we got to do something like that again. We will.
We do.
A lot of good content, so check out that one if you go check the website out. Also, our Facebook group page, and, submit a request. Come on in, check everything out there. Twitter, obviously, thank you guys for blowing us up on Twitter. At Kick and Make Up is the show's, and at Hybrid MMA is mine. Instagram, YouTube, obviously YouTube, you're watching it. So, yeah, man, just thank you to all the fans. Man, you guys have been crazy supportive lately, and it's just fun. Even me too, man. You guys know that if you see, JD's on all the time, but it's seeing you guys on so much is making me even want to be on. Like, And it's getting me on more than normal, so that says a lot, man.
No, it's fun. I heard somebody on TV refer to Twitter as like the world's largest sports bar, and that's kind of what it is. Especially when there's an event going on, you can kind of sit and comment and wait for people to respond, or if you see somebody say something, they respond to you. Like it's real cool like that, and it's nice to get to a point with our show that we can actually say things and expect someone to respond as opposed to just talking into the Twitterverse and not getting one response.
Or just back and forth to each other when we were on the same couch. That was weird those days. Like not answering each other in person, but answering each other on Twitter. Sad.
Just gotta do it sometimes.
But we did. Everybody's done it.
Growth. This is growth. All of this is growth.
Yes. So if this is the first time you're watching Kick and Make Up show, we do this show like this. There's a high kick of the week, which is the best thing going on in our opinion. The low kick, which is the worst. And the That's Some BullKick segment, where we just rant and rave about something weird and goofy going on this week, and we go off and we don't care, unapologetic, and it's great. Love it.
We got a good one this week too.
We do. But first, before the high kick, tons of announcements, man. This Saturday, if you guys watched UFC on FS1 this past weekend, major announcements, man. First and foremost, UFC 197 is official. Cormier versus Jones 2 is set for April 23rd. The co-main event is Demetrious Johnson versus Henry Cejudo. Man, so right there, we've got it. And I will say that John Jones, there was a second today that I thought that fight might not happen. I don't know if you heard that he got caught driving with a suspended license. Had to go to court today.
Nope.
And for a second, I'm like, oh, this mother grabber. He's going to mess it all up, but he got off. But yeah, so he's on probation for 18 months, I think. Got caught driving without a license, so a little fine, but not enough to do anything for this fight. Yeah, what do you think about that, man?
Excited about it. There was part of me that sort of grimaced a little bit when I heard it. I think it's going to be a good matchup. It's just I don't like either guy. And I mean, I'll flat out just say that. I don't like either guy. And my like or dislike for either guy has me less than excited for this fight. But, I mean, I still think it's a great matchup. It's one that I'm going to watch for sure. And probably as it gets closer, I'll get more excited about it. But I'm just not a Cormier fan. I'm not a Jones fan, especially with all the things that Jones has done. Cormier always rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. That matchup just always seems so like stereotypical, cliche. Like you got the goody two shoes Cormier. I don't want to use the UT word, but I will. Uncle Tom Cormier. Coming out with fire, coming out with the flames. It. But no, I just don't. I don't like him.
I'm with
you. And my feelings have always been that way, long before he even got to the success that he was at now. Just seeing some of his interviews and stuff, and then, seeing some of the things he does, the way just the smug attitude that he has. And I understand that Jones kind of goaded him into saying a lot of things that he said before, but just don't like him. And then, Jones is ridiculous too with the, he has a drug habit. You know, he's an asshole too, and it sucks that both of these guys have that sort of, you know, mentality and stuff in the background. I don't know if every fan knows that type of stuff about them, but being sort of inside like we are, I just don't like it, man.
Yeah, but you know, if you're a fan, at this point, I feel like their lives have been so pulled to the forefront with all these things, like the mic'd up stuff, you know, behind the scenes, or Joan was talking shit, they were talking shit back and forth, and all of his drug problems and the jail stuff, that was, you know, top headline news in news, not just sports news.
Right.
That you couldn't miss it that week. So I feel like people at this point know about it, and I'm with you on all that too. I don't like Cormier. You know, Jones isn't the greatest of people, but I still would rather Jones with the belt than Cormier. And I just that's why I'm looking forward to this. I'm also looking forward to this fight, to see Jones come back, be bigger. How's that gonna equate in the cage? But I don't want Cormier to have the belt. I want anybody else but Cormier in that division to have the belt. Rumble. I want to see Rumble and Jones. I want to see Gustafsson and Jones too. You know, if this is the fight I have to see to get it done with, to see another fight, and I hope Jones wins and just kind of knocks Cormier out of the mix. Yeah. And he goes back to fighting whoever. Like, I'm not excited about Cormier, but I am curious about this fight for Jones.
Yeah, and I'm just, like you said, I'm gonna hope that as a fan of the sport, that Cormier takes the L on that one, just because I think it would make for a more exciting division if Jones wins it. You know, we'll probably eventually get a third fight between those guys. But you know, I think it would be it would be something that casual fans and hardcore fans want to see. It's logical. It has to happen. So I can't really be too mad about it, even though I don't like either guy.
Co-main event: Demetrious Johnson, Henry Cejudo. Like I said, it's so. I don't really care. Henry Cejudo, I know why they did it, because I was trying to figure out, like, why did they give, and we were joking around on Twitter too, like, why did they give Henry Cejudo, and why did they forget to tell Joseph Benavidez?
Right.
Poor Joseph Benavidez that calls out Demetrious Johnson when this fight was already made. I guess he wasn't paying attention. I guess it was just made literally like an hour before he fought or something.
And you know it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could. Yeah, I guess they don't have to inform them of that type of stuff.
It just looks sad. But, so Henry Cejudo is 10-0. That's why. Because Henry Cejudo is 10-0. He's undefeated. That's how you market this fight. Nobody really gets behind Demetrious Johnson, and unfairly so, because he wins, you know, in very, you know, hard fashion. I mean, just devastating fashion. He's very good, but like we talk about it all the time. I still don't like him really. I don't know if he's too nice. Even, you know, we had somebody, you know who you are. We had this conversation this weekend talking about Demetrious Johnson too. We just can't get behind him. He's just like, and we couldn't figure out why. Why can't we get behind him? What's he doing? Is he too nice? Is he just like too cookie cutter? You know, we were talking about even the Mighty Mouse. Like, we Googled Mighty Mouse and picture of Mighty Mouse because, well, first of all, I thought Mighty Mouse was a naked mouse with the cape. Why I thought Mighty Mouse was just like a mouse with just the cape, I don't know. It's my sick fantasies or something. But he's got like a spandex outfit on with the cape. Right. So that made it better. We were just trying to figure out, like, who. I mean, do you guys care about this fight? Do you guys want to see Henry Cejudo with the belt? That's weird. Like,
yeah, I don't even think that's gonna be that's not gonna happen. I mean, like, Johnson is too good. I think a lot of times back when I, you know, really started paying attention to him was when we went to, you know, UFC in Chicago that time, and, you know, he had a fight then, but just seeing I think a lot of people had a problem with him being a sort of a wrestler and a grappler and not really, you know, working on the hand speed and the different aspects of standing up, but he went back and changed that. And it's almost like he's too good for his division and his time. So maybe we'll get somebody who will challenge him at some point, and that might make us think a little bit better of him, and he might get elevated in our minds because he's challenged at this point. But until you get to that point, you're not going to have anybody, really feel that energetic or enthused about Johnson. And it's really sad. It's nothing. I mean, what more can he do? He just wins. And I guess because it's not as exciting as some people want to see, that you kind of downgrade him in your mind, and that's unfair to him, but that's just how it is.
I know the UFC is putting him on the co-main event of this just to try to give that division anything they can. I mean, so that's why it's the co-main event. But it's a cool card though, two title fights. I'm excited for it. It's gonna kick off the spring, summerish, pretty good. So got that going on. Another big announcement. Well, another announcement. I don't know how big it is. So, hey, everybody, stop what you're doing, because CM Punk has a fight. Cue the one person in the back going, with the one guy clapping.
Yep.
Because nobody cares anymore.
Yep. With his CM Punk WWE shirt on, because that's the only reason why he gives a shit. But
yeah. So, he will fight Mickey Gall, who submitted Mike Jackson. Michael Jackson got submitted this weekend.
he's back.
He's back. Yeah, that's weird.
From the grave, and he's fighting in the UFC.
And he got submitted in 45 seconds for a
Okay, hold on.
Mickey Gall.
Hold on. If Michael Jackson was in the UFC, what type of fighting style would he have?
Oh man, I think he would have like a. Oh, dude, he would fight like Tarek Safedine and be kickboxer and do the question mark kick, because this is pretty much a question mark kick. It's kick out. It's a little squiggly kick.
Okay, see, and the UFC wastes all this time putting like Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson on their game when they should really be trying to put Michael Jackson on there.
And instead of the walk-off knockout, the moon walk-off knockout. Kicking, bam, and then...
Dude, that would be so dope. Like, okay.
Backwards hands, like, psh.
Yep.
Because then he dances,
just
he
slap.
get like this, backwards hand, psh.
He'd only have one glove.
Awesome, man. I love what's going on right now. Again, right? Unlockable character, Michael Jackson.
Yes.
In the next EA sport, isn't it EA now?
Yep.
EA UFC, like, hey, come on, unlock Mike Tyson this year, Michael Jackson next year,
and Michael Jordan the next year. There you go.
Oh my God, dude, I'm more excited about that than CM Punk and Mickey Gall. All right, so this fight's gonna be on. Look at me too, like reading this because I have to.
Right.
Like this fight's gonna be on UFC 199, the Weidman vs. Rocco 2 in June. Like they debuted CM Punk. Like they told us about CM Punk like a year and a half ago, didn't they?
Yep.
Something like that. So now his fight's still not gonna be till the summer. I don't think anybody cares anymore. I don't know what, like...
We barely care.
Yeah, so I just don't know what they're going to do with this. Like, if they're going to try to, like, con us into getting into the CM Punk fight. Like this fight's any more than just a fantasy fight for CM Punk, a bucket list thing. He's not going to... What's he going to rise in the division? Like...
Right.
I just can't get behind it. I don't care. And I don't care.
I think the UFC was telling us without telling us several things by the way this all went down. You had the announcement, then you had the long delay. That was problem number one. Then from there, you had Dana White come out last week and say that after this fight, CM Punk is going to decide what he wants to do. Is he going to fight again, or is that going to be it? Bad sign. Bad sign. Anybody who's serious about the sport knows that whether they win or lose after that first fight, they're gonna fight again if they're thinking about embarking on a career. But they have to view this at this point as, I'm sure everyone on the inside views this as sort of just a one-time thing, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You might be able to steal a few old WWE fans at this point, but as far as that's concerned, I think they had a 3 to 4 month window when they first announced it, and they could have rushed them out there and maybe got some people to rally behind it and be excited about it, at least to some degree. But to have the long delay in between, and now you have him fighting somebody who don't really care about that, but he's probably going to beat him, and once he ends up losing, then he's really done. So yeah, it's a bad sort of situation. But I mean, if you're the UFC, I'm sure they don't care. Whatever they get out of it, they'll be all right.
Like I said, there's so much else going on right now in the UFC that's huge, big, potentially, giant fights coming up. That this is just one of those. We've got to finish this out because we started it. So let's just see where it goes. Either way, they're not going to lose money on it. Really, not going to probably gain a lot of money either. So like you said, it's just like whatever. So. Biggest announcement for me, I feel like even bigger than the Cormier and Jones 2 was the unveiling of the next UFC on Fox free card on Big Fox, April 16th. Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Co-main event, Shogun versus Rashad Evans. Also on that card, Lyoto Machida and Dan Henderson 2. And Rose Namajunas versus Tecia Torres.
I'm really excited about that one.
Me too, man. This is the second time those two have fought. The first time we saw Rose whip off the flying armbar.
Yep.
Ugh, disgustingly awesome. Great highlight clip for the next month. Dude, what a good card. And I'm gonna say this right now. Well, you go ahead. Do you have any comments yet?
Okay. Well, before we give some breaking news, but I love these UFC on Fox cards, and we've sung the praises of them multiple times during all of our past episodes. But one of the things that I was always nervous about was that there was going to be this sort of oversaturation, but they're doing a good job of spacing things out now a little bit to give you a break in between. There's not something really going on every week at this point like there was at some points in 2015, and it kind of makes you now get excited for that, and then let alone to have a card like this with, some fighters who are, the main event is ridiculous. That's about as good as you can get for a free card. And I know that the co-main is kind of a throwback a little bit, but
I hate the co-main event. I hate the co-main event.
I don't mind it though for a free card like that.
I get it, and that's what I was gonna say. I get the co-main.
You know why they're on there?
Because Khabib Nurmagomedov's gonna get injured. That's what's gonna happen.
God. Oh.
So.
That just hurt. Sorry. That hurt.
I want to see this main event so much, but April 16th is so far away. So far away. Khabib Nurmagomedov I loved watching him, man. He's one of my favorite fighters that's on the cusp of breaking out right now, but he can't stay healthy. And I just think that the UFC knows that too. So they said, we're going to have to stack this card in case that happens, that the co-main event can get bumped up and be strong enough to be a main event fight, which Shogun and Rashad Evans main event, obviously. That's a perfect main event fight. Free on Fox. You've got a lot of people at home watching those fights, that's are in their mid 30s, late 40s, 50s. You can have some of the older fans. You put that on, oh my God, Shogun's fighting again. I'm not a huge fan of those guys anymore, but I was one time. But I'm not anymore. And even with the Machida and Henderson too, not anymore really. And that's not saying that they're not some of the Hall of Famers and the best that have fought. I just am not interested in them anymore really. So I get it, but I just thought I don't know how excited I can get for Shogun and Rashad Evans. I don't care on that one who wins, because whoever wins,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And I look at Machida and Henderson. Whoever wins that, it doesn't matter. I want the fights that I get involved in or watching and talking about for it to set up another fight.
Right.
These are just, I feel like these four guys are real close to retiring. Some should have retired already, and they're just the main event. I'm sorry everybody if you think I just jinxed it or whatever, but I don't care.
You did it.
I want that fight to happen more than anybody else, and I want the winner of that to get a title shot.
Yep.
Which they should. I mean, it has to be. I would feel like that. I keep saying UFC 200, but April major. Yeah, I feel like the lightweight title on the line at UFC 200 with whoever wins out of Nurmagomedov or Ferguson. But man, I'm just nervous. It's 8 weeks away.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It's a great card though, man.
It is, and like I was saying, like you said, I should say, it was that's sort of appealing to a certain demographic, and it nails it. So
It's an
I
older
can't be
demographic, too.
I can't be mad about that.
If you're 18, 19, unless you've watched tape, video, do you really know Shogun Hua in his fights? Do you remember Pride? I mean, that kind of stuff. Do you guys really appreciate him as much?
Right.
No, what you guys probably see, and if I'm wrong, say something, but you see like two guys that are like 42, in there just winging it out. I don't know how much people can get behind that if you don't really know the history of the guys.
Right.
So, curious to see. I think that card will do phenomenal though. Free on
Oh yeah, of
and
course.
I hope everybody stays healthy and we get the Nurmagomedov finally. Ferguson. God, what a great fight if we end up getting that, man. That could be
fight of the year. Yeah.
I mean, that could be up there for fight of the year if everything happens how it's supposed to be. Man, cliche line of fireworks. Just sick fight.
Yep.
And then Namajunas and Tecia Torres. That kicks off the card. Jesus, man. When you kick off the card with that, you're in for a good night of fights.
And I really, man, I love where women's MMA is at right now. I feel like there's so many names that it will be between the UFC and Invicta that I'm happy that they're getting the push and the promotion that they're getting. So, and that's a great matchup right there.
Yeah. One last piece of breaking news is Ben Rothwell will headline UFC Fight Night Croatia and fight Junior Dos Santos on April 10th. So some of his handiwork and talking is getting, heard and listened to, and Ben Rothwell is slowly, climbing his way to the top, man. You're fighting JDS, you knock him out, or you win that fight, you're pretty close to a title shot, man. So we may see a Ben Rothwell title shot by the end of this year. I don't know.
Heavyweight division.
I know, man. I know. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for Ben Rothwell. That
As a person,
because he's doing what he said he was gonna do, which I like. He's kind of talking shit to other people that get injured or pull out fights. He's not doing that, and he's knocking out people and submitting people and doing it how he's supposed to do it. He's not getting free fights. He's not getting pushed like Sage did or like some of the other people that get fights for nothing, doing nothing. He's earning all
legit work.
He's earning all these fights, so that's why I'm pretty happy to see that. And him versus JDS, man, that's a challenge. So I kind of see him winning that too because of all the damage JDS has taken in his Velasquez fights.
Yeah.
He looks like a different fighter now. So I might be making my call early now and saying if everything stays how it's supposed to, I can see Ben Rothwell getting that and getting a title shot maybe. So lots of announcements, man.
Yeah,
it's a lot of announcements.
That's a whole lot,
man.
A whole lot.
So lots to talk about.
And all of our local fans should keep that UFC on Fox card in mind. Just keep that in mind for some things.
Yeah, that's April 16th, Saturday, April 16th. Go ahead, just put that in your phone, just to watch fights.
Yeah,
and we'll let you know.
Fill you in later.
Yeah, good. It's like a loose save the date.
A little tease.
Yes.
Sometimes all you need is a tease.
Just a bit. So, going into now, man, we could end the show now. And that's the announcement. It's kicking back up.
Right.
All right. So, high kick of the week, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Jesus.
Yes.
I had to stop and say Jesus first.
This is his new nickname, Jesus.
Stephen Wonderboy Jesus Thompson knocks out Johny Hendricks, man. First round. Completely picked him apart. I couldn't even believe it, man. I mean, even before the fight, I just shit-talkingly posted round 1 KO Hendricks. So confident, but like I told you, we should have known, man. Why didn't we know that we just watched this fight in female form
right.
with Rousey and Holm a few months ago?
Yep.
It's the same fight, right?
It is. It's the exact same fight, and like you said, we should have known. I think a lot of times we sort of store images of fighters in our mind and fail to realize that from month to month, year to year, these guys change, and Hendricks isn't what he was before. And coming off of the different things that's been going on with him and the weight cutting issue, and taking losses. We should have seen that coming. We should have seen that coming. And that's not even diving into the stylistic differences of these guys. Like you said, it was Rousey home too, just in a male form. And it turned out the exact same way. You have somebody who's an elite kickboxer and somebody who's an elite wrestler, and that kickboxing is just so strong that the wrestler can't even get in. Like that's, if you're gonna be a wrestler, like first of all, I don't think that you should be downed or anything for using what your best skill is. I feel like Hendricks probably succumbed to, you know, his reading his newspaper clippings and people saying that, you know, he's this big knockout artist. No, you're a wrestler. You can knock people out, but you're a wrestler, and especially facing somebody who is a ridiculous striker like Wonderboy is, you should probably jump in and wrestle this guy. Right. Like, it might be ugly, it might look like the way, you know, it was with GSP, but you have to do that. Yeah. You have to do that, and if you're gonna get that W, that was probably his best opportunity to do that, or his best strategy to do that. And
he said the same thing.
Didn't work.
He hesitated. I don't think he hesitated at all.
No.
I think he got beat up.
Yep.
Like, and that's just something, you know, what for me, that line, what did you hesitate on? You hesitated on pulling the trick. No, you tried. You took him down. He got right back up.
Right.
You let him stand. You let him have that space where the worst place you want to be is right outside the range of a kickboxer, because he's gonna do exactly what he did and completely pick apart. I mean, I felt like I was watching somebody kick a heavy bag. The heavy bag was just kind of moving around, swaying around, and Wonderboy looked so relaxed, doing whatever he wanted to. He had the heavier hits from his hands. He had the kicks. He had at one point he spun and kicked and it looked like he folded him in half into the cage.
Yeah.
Question mark kicks. I mean, it was wild to watch, and I was just like, what am I watching here? You know, and at no point was Hendricks at all even threatening to be in winning that fight. And I just think it was interesting and a great win for Wonderboy. But I want people to pump the brakes a bit on Wonderboy, please.
Thank you.
Let's calm down just a second. Okay, yeah, great. He beat Johny Hendricks. That's awesome, and I agree with that. Immediate title shot? No immediate title shot. Can he fight a couple more people first? You know, there's still. Don't put him up against Tyron Woodley, because the same thing's gonna happen.
Yes.
Put him against Carlos Condit. My God, man. Wonderboy Condit, winner gets Lawler.
Yes. That's it.
Has to happen. Nothing else should happen, right?
No. I said the same thing on Twitter. Go check the timeline. I'm starting doing that hashtag. Check the timeline.
All right.
Even though if you check my timeline, you see a whole lot of wrong shit too. But if you go back and check the timeline, I said that he does not need to jump straight to main event, you know, to number one contender status, or you know, going for the belt. Like, it shouldn't work like that.
No.
And I know how the UFC is. Sometimes they really want to, you know, cash in and capitalize on things quickly. But no, he needs one more fight to prove yourself. Like you said, him and Condit will be an incredible fight.
Condit throws so much volume and so much, you know, such a good kickboxer too, that you would have a fairly even kickboxing fight. And I think maybe even Wonderboy might have the edge a little bit over Condit in kickboxing.
Speed-wise, yeah,
but
footwork-wise.
Still, man, you're going to have somebody that knows the ranges too, and you're going to have a kickboxing match. And it's going to be awesome, man. And I hope that happens. You know, I know Condit said he probably wouldn't come back out for anything but a rematch with Lawler. But if he was guaranteed or left to feel like this is a legitimate number one contender fight, the winner of this will get Lawler, I think he would come out, and I think it'd be something great to really, you know, like you said, it was a long year for Hendricks. I personally thought he looked the best shape that he's ever been in, but I think that actually hindered him a little bit, because I didn't expect. I mean, he looks shredded, he looks good, he looks healthy, but I think that in training and doing the speed and conditioning, maybe he wasn't wrestling as much. Maybe he was focusing too much on that. So,
and one thing that I noticed, I don't remember the exact weight, but it was right before it was fight week, so it was probably Tuesday of last week or Wednesday of last week, and they talked about how, or Hendricks came out and said how he had, it was a picture came out and it, showed him shredded and all that stuff, and he still said he had like maybe 4 to 8 pounds to lose or something like that. And I was like, man, he looks great, but that's not good. If you're like looking like this and you still have weight to go,
I think I just shaved my head. At that point, if I look that shredded and I still had like 2-3 pounds, I think I'm just cutting this off. That's probably a pound and a half. I mean, we'll get into more of that later. But so please, UFC, because I know you watch this obviously now with all the likes and the views lately. I know one of them's all you guys over there. Make Condit fight Wonderboy next. Make that happen, man. What an entertaining fight. Make that a pay-per-view. People will pay for that. I mean,
definitely.
That's a pay-per-view, co-main event maybe. Don't know about main event yet, but a definite co-main event. I can see that being awesome, man. So yeah, big news, man. That took the Twitter by storm. That took everybody.
It did.
I mean, that surprised everybody. Nobody saw that coming. So I like that things like that can still happen, man.
Yeah, especially the way it went down. I think everybody's expecting things to be a little bit different, and it turned out the way it did.
Yeah. So good high kick, awesome, man. Low kick is far on the other end of the spectrum. We don't even need to talk about the low kick very much. I just wanted to say, Roy Nelson and Josh Roshalt fight. You guys get the low kick, man. Like, I think I legitimately fell asleep. Is
there a sleep kick?
For a little bit. I think it's the one where you're sleeping and then somebody wakes you up and you're like, oh. like that. Like, that's one of those, like.
Or it's the one where you sleep and you don't know that you're asleep.
Yeah.
Like somebody's talking to you, or you wake up and you just realize that somebody's talking to you and you're just like, what?
You know what I wish them, as they were circling around each other, I wish both of them would have fell asleep and then ran into each other and headbutted and then had a double knockout. That would have been more entertaining than watching them circle around each other.
Yeah.
Roy Nelson, I just didn't understand what his strategy was. He like inched his way, crept to get him up, Roshalt up against the cage, but then didn't do anything when he got him. So you spent 2 minutes angling and circling to wedge somebody back against the cage, and then you don't strike. You don't do. I didn't get it, man. I just thought it was.
I know Roshalt is a world class wrestler too, and for him to just decide to not wrestle like that's one of the things that I didn't like about the Hendricks one too, was him saying that how did he put it? We kind of talked about it, but like he couldn't get it going or something like that. Like these fights, it's not like that fight, the Hendricks fight was over in 20 seconds.
Right.
That fight lasted long enough for you to be able to get your strategy going.
That's what
yeah,
it was.
there you go.
He
Hesitated. You can't hesitate in a fight that lasts as long as that fight lasted.
No.
You can't. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he didn't hesitate though.
No.
Like when he said that, we just watched you fight, trying things that weren't working,
yes.
Swinging and missing, takedown when not holding it down. So you didn't hesitate. You just didn't do it.
You weren't effective.
It wasn't effective.
Yeah,
exactly.
and Roshalt was a wrestler who didn't wrestle, didn't really try to wrestle, didn't shoot, didn't do anything.
Roy Nelson hesitated.
Yeah,
I can see that. That's when you're at that mode where you're kind of like leaning in to do something, but you're not. That's the definition of you're hesitating to make a move.
Right.
You're not doing anything. So I mean, co-main event. I mean, both those guys really have to look and ask themselves, like, what are we doing? What am I? If this is gonna be my fight style, and neither one of those guys has anything else to prove anymore.
No.
I think that's something that if you're a UFC fighter, you've made it. I mean, whatever level you're on, you've made it enough to be an elite fighter. You have nothing else to prove really to us as the fans watching. But if you're going in there and your style is getting to be like that, which I feel like it is now a little bit, you got to really ask yourself, like, is this what I want to be doing still? Is it time to maybe retire? Is it time to do something else? Train be a trainer, do like Ben Rothwell did when he was kind of contemplating it. He opened up a gym, which kind of gave him the resurgence to do more. I would, if Roy Nelson opened a gym in my area, I would join. Like,
right.
He'd be a great coach. He'd be, he's still one of the best, but not fighting like that. Not
no,
showing
and you have to, if you're a fighter, like you said, once you get to the UFC, you've made it. From there, I would assume that you want to win a belt, you want to win a title. That fighting style that we saw in that fight will not win you a title. I don't care who you're fighting.
No, man.
That's not going to win you a title. So what are you really doing if you're fighting like that? And I feel like either of those guys, if they had done and fought their sort of like previous styles or what they're good at, it would have been a more entertaining fight. And either of those guys would have won if they would have actually tried to impose their will on their opponent, and it didn't go down like that at all. So
Yeah.
I don't really know exactly what they were trying to do.
I don't know. So, yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, that's enough.
All right. This week's bull kick, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. So, it's very general, but, well, it's general in the effect of the topic, but it's a little bit specific to this weekend, as you pointed out earlier. So this week's That's Some BullKick just goes to weight cutting in MMA, and the way it's done and what needs to be done about it. You were so kind as to let me know this, which I didn't even know either, that Josh Burkman cut 18 pounds in 24 hours for this fight against KJ Noons this past weekend. Just right there, that can't go on. That can't go on. So let's pass it over to you for a second.
Yeah. Well, let's address that first before I jump into what Bob Jolly had to say, which is a local MMA fan promoter, all that type of good stuff. Fan of the show too, so thanks for checking it out. But yeah, 18 pounds in 24 hours. It's shocking. And I'm like, I don't even know how you do that, but it can't be healthy. Whatever you did, it can't be healthy. You can't recover from that in, however much time, less than 24 hours before you fight or 48 hours before you fight. And I remember reading also that he said that, I don't remember the exact numbers, but something like he dropped those 24 hours before the fight, and then by the time he got ready to fight, he had already gained back like 24 or 25 pounds. And just to seesaw close to 50 pounds in a 48-hour period like that can't be good for your body. That can't be healthy.
It doesn't feel like, literally. That's why I'm gonna play the devil's advocate, because it doesn't feel bad though. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's what's very confusing, because as you're fighting, you're keeping yourself in the best shape. You're eating the best foods. If you're cutting weight and you're not eating and going that route, obviously that's not good. And we've all done that. My first fight, I didn't cut weight the right way. I looked very sick fight day. I made the weight, gained it back, something like 15 pounds overnight, again, by just eating a couple of meals and drinking, which I didn't eat 15 pounds of food. So I'm not sure how I got back to the weight, if everything re-regulated or something. But with the second fight, I did the same. I took a longer time to cut weight and did it the right way, and I felt great. I don't know. Or excuse me, my third fight. So I don't know what, that's what's confusing, because the 18 pounds for 25 hours for me says you didn't do the work when you started way too late. So I don't feel bad for somebody that does it the wrong way. So these aren't. I'm talking about what about the people that do it the right way, and it feels right, and you're eating right, and you look good. I don't know. I mean, we can't see our organs and things like that.
Right.
That's very confusing, I will say, to weight cutting, because if you do it the right way, you feel perfect, man. I mean, so. And
I don't think that the problem is the guys who are doing it the right way. It's the guys who aren't doing it the right way, and that eventually, and we've already had a few deaths over the past year or so, but eventually, that those types of things are going to catch up with a bigger name fighter if you continue to cut weight like that. And I mean, I know that you're trying to, it's part of the game that you have to drop huge amounts of weight in order to fit in at a lower weight class, so that hopefully your power translate, those sorts of things and you're fighting guys who are technically smaller than you. So I understand that's how it works, but from the outside looking in and being somebody who isn't a fighter, it looks as though that is setting you up to be, unhealthy at the very least, and possibly, hurting the longevity of your career if you continue to do it the wrong way, however that wrong way is.
That separates, for me, before you get into the quotes, I mean, for me, that once again, I don't know what the main objective is for this. Are we saying that we want to do same day weigh-ins? Not the day before. That's been brought up. I don't know. That for me separates the elite also again from the amateurs is the weight cutting part. Like, are you doing it right or are you not? And if you're not, then you need to relook into what sport you're in, because if you can't even get that part right, then this fly is killing me, man. Like,
I know.
I
hope so.
All right, so nope, I didn't. There he is. So, but like I said,
gonna land on your head.
He's probably gone in the depths of the. Jesus, man. All
Landed in the hair jail.
Probably not the first time. So gross story. Switching real quick from this super serious topic. There was this time where there was this like fly, like legitimate, like loud fly, got caught in my hair, and I could hear it stop, and then just like it was fluttering around, like it's like, and then it just stopped, and I was like, oh, it's in my hair, like. And like I just kind of flicked it. And it was like, I'm like, that was so gross because you could hear it.
And it lived.
Stopped. It lived.
It lived to tell that story. So he went to the fly crib that night and told the rest of his peeps like,
Come here, everybody.
I survived, man.
Let me tell you this fly story. Like that. Boom.
That's why you gotta have a bald head. That works for me.
Yeah.
I have to worry about flies. That's why I did it.
It's gross, man.
It's not the fact that I can't grow hair.
I didn't even wash my hair after that. I probably should have, but
it's all right. A little extra protein,
Yeah. Anyway, so back to the super serious thing of weight cutting. I don't know what our objective is though. Like I don't want fighters to be unhealthy. I definitely felt unhealthy the first time I did it. I got better at it, at cutting weight, and it became more. And it was safer for me. I mean, I did it the right way, so it became safer for me. And I didn't feel like I was putting my health in risk the second, third time I did it. I did feel like the first time I did. That's evolution of the sport. That's
right.
New guys coming in. And if I'm a fighter and I'm fighting somebody that's just starting, I want them to cut weight the wrong way. I don't want them to be like unhealthy. But if I'm fighting them and they're tired from cutting weight too late, good. That's an advantage for me. So I do kind of like seeing I think you should have a reward from doing it the right way.
Right.
You do same day weight cutting, you're gonna take that away from the guys that really do it right. I think, and so I don't know. It's a bad. I feel like this is like a bad stance for me to be on. I'm not advocating no weight cutting or but
if you consider it to be part of the sport and something that you have to do, and like you said, the advantages of doing it the right way usually show up in the octagon. So if you do it the right way, you're gonna have that added benefit by doing it. My thing is, when you see guys like Burkman, this isn't his first fight. Like, he's been around a long time. He's dropping down to a lower weight class because the weight class that he was in, he kept getting his ass beat. So you at a certain point, you have to say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna drop, but is it worth it for me to drop down just so I can get a win? But I have to put my body through all of this in order to do it. And I think that, there aren't any long-term studies or anything that follow that sort of thing right now. But I feel like we're going to have those sorts of things, a little bit further down the line. And you're going to see how much, damage that does to your body by, pretty much starving and putting yourself through an extreme, sort of, starvation, dehydration. Those things, they have to weigh a toll on you going into a fight.
Would this be a crazy even possibility for when you make? So me and you are gonna fight. 8 weeks training camp.
185, right?
180, yeah, 185. Right. Yep.
I'm just gonna drop this 100 real quick.
Hell yeah, we're gonna get the fans what they want to see. JD and American Hybrid. So we're fighting each other 8 weeks. Is this even a possibility for them to hire like doctors and nutritionists and a whole team of weight cutting team and have them check in on us every week and have it be we have to be at a certain area each week, and if we're not at that point 3 weeks out, maybe
right.
2 weeks out, then we can't fight.
Right.
Like if we're at 18 pounds to go in 24 hours, there's no fight.
Right.
But if we're, so that's 24 hours though, that's 1 day. If we're 18 pounds out and it's 3 weeks,
right.
no fight.
Right.
Like can they have some sort of scale where we have to check in once a week and get blood tests and maybe not blood tests, but like get some sort of tests, give our diet plan, prove that that's what we're eating, prove that we're eating.
Right.
Can you track that?
I don't know. I think you can probably only track it through weighing somebody repeatedly. I'm trying to think of what the disadvantage to having a system like that would be besides, putting out the money to have to, concentrate on something like that
But if there was something to put out money for, fighters' health
Right.
like first and foremost.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like if there's something where you have, if you're having them, is there some disadvantage to losing the weight slow? I can't think of one.
No, because that's how
you should do it,
the
right?
correct route.
Right.
Like I said, when I did it the correct route, it felt right. When I cut 10 pounds in 3 days by drinking water and having these little like rice bars that expand in your stomach so you feel full, the full bars or whatever they were called, that felt wrong. It was complete laziness of one or the other. Like I wasn't putting in the time, so I was being lazy by not, having a meal plan ready to go. So I had to get this rice cake bar to eat and drink water. Like I should have planned. I had a fight. I knew I had a fight. I should have planned better.
Of course. Let me read what Bob wrote on his post. And he said, I think huge weight cuts are stupid. Fighters do it to try to fight smaller guys or to avoid fighting a much bigger guy. If weigh-ins were done an hour before a fight, the game would change drastically. 15+ pound weight cuts are just ridiculous. Fight healthy. Why spend months preparing your body for a fight and then the last week completely breaking that down? I wish we had day prior weigh-in still and that another weigh-in on the day of within a set amount of weight that you are allowed to gain within a 24-hour period. I understand if you need to cut 4 or 5 pounds to get to the next class, but if you train right for several months, your body will already be at that healthy weight. Don't destroy that. I think that about sums it up. That's a great idea and a great way of regulating, fighter health. And, I think you see a little bit of the parallels with CTE and NFL and football. I think for the longest, they just tried their best to act like it didn't exist. It doesn't happen. We're not even going to acknowledge that these guys have concussions. And I think it's sort of the same way with MMA. Nobody wants to talk about how the trial that these guys are putting their bodies through when they're cutting weight until there's somebody who dies from it. And then, then it's an issue. But all the way up until that point, everybody forgets about it and just sort of takes it to status quo.
There has been.
Right.
There hasn't been in the UFC, I don't think. So that, I think, is going to be the final straw when the organization as big as UFC has their first, weight-cutting death. It's somebody that is, pretty well known,
right.
And that's gonna really shake things up. And it's unfortunate that it's gonna take that because there has been deaths in, East Asia and different cards too. That guys that are dehydrating themselves and then dying, going to the hospital, and that's what it was. They cut too much. So, definitely not something I think we're gonna be seeing any changes anytime soon. We're gonna talk about this. I don't feel like they're gonna do anything for a while still. Nothing, like we said, they're gonna have to put out a lot of money, and I don't think they're gonna do that right now.
Right.
Best thing if you're watching this, so you know somebody that's cutting weight, that's fighting, make sure they're doing it the right way. Make sure if you're on their team or you're their family or their friend, stay on them. Make sure that they're doing it the right way, and if you see them, not doing it, say something to them, let them know. And it's not a conversation anybody wants to have really with the fighter 2 weeks out. They're real moody, and most of the time you don't want to say like, did you eat all your food today? But that could save their life though. So it's kind of real talk right now. So man, so it's a big thing that needs to be discussed more. So make sure you guys let us know how you feel about weight cutting. Like, what do you think of our ideas? Like, do you guys have any more ideas? Obviously, the more that it's talked about in small forums and shows and things like that, the more it'll come to the forefront, hopefully, and some changes will be made. They do have once a year the conference that talks about all kinds of stuff for the UFC, and weight cutting should be on that list. for this year. So we'll see, man.
No, I agree, and I would love to hear what everybody else has to say about this. I think as a show, we've gotten to the point now where we know that people are watching and are commenting, and this is something that I would really, really like feedback on, especially if you feel like the system should stay the way it is now. Just sort of like the view that you had earlier on. Like I think that's an interesting way of considering it though, and viewing that as just as much of an integral part of the sport as everything else. So I can understand why there'd be a lot of people who do it the right way and say, well, shit, I'm out here busting my ass the whole time doing it the right way. Why should I have to fight guys who have to have people come in and hold their hand and do it the right way? If they want to come in and slack off and, you know, do this whole yo-yo, you know, weight thing, they should pay the price for that when they come to fight.
Yep.
So I totally get it. I can't wait to hear what people have to say about it.
Yes, let us know. At Hybrid MMA is mine. At Kick and Make Up is the Twitters. It's the show's
yes.
Twitter. Excuse me.
I mean, if you think about it, it really is Twitters, right?
It's Twitters, right?
Yeah.
It's the Twitters. It's the Twitters. I had it like an accent. Like I don't know if that was
Twitters.
like a Italian and Hispanic accent. It's the Twitters. So anyway, that bull kick, definitely a good one this week. Gotta have these good bull kicks every now and then.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we should have had like sweaters, like a professional sweater, and like set up for that one.
Yeah,
you know, it was a little bit
break
more,
out some ties or
serious.
something.
Yeah, just.
We should have like ties that we just keep on the side.
One day?
We
Like,
should, yeah.
Shirt and tie for one of the shows.
We should.
Just cause.
Maybe the one that we do on that Saturday that we were kind of hinting at
Yes.
in April
We might have
on the
to step
16th.
up. Okay. All right. I like that, man. You know me. I like dressing up.
You know me, I don't have a
That's
reason.
you too, man.
I don't have a reason to dress up, so I look for excuses to dress up.
Yeah. You know, I'm much more. There's much more to my wardrobe than this Batman sweater.
Oh, bro.
So,
Look, and I feel like I'm stuck in gym attire at all times, considering where we work at, and you know, being in the gym all the time. So I get to break out my suspenders again.
Sounds
Can I?
good, man.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
of course
Okay,
you
cool.
can.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
I
do
like
it,
man. All right. So, high kick, low kick, bull kick's done. We've got some upcoming. There's a few fights coming up. There's a few fights coming up here next weekend. Excuse me. So we've got another Friday, Saturday, Sunday events going on. Friday, February 19th is the Bellator. We've been all waiting for Bellator 149. Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock.
Can I give Bellator a little bit of credit? This is, I guess maybe I shouldn't have been thinking so concrete in my mind with them as far as what they're doing with their league, but I don't mind the spectacle stuff. If you go out and sign a Chris Levin, if you go out and sign a Ben Henderson on top of this type of stuff, like if that's your idea, I get it then, because you're gonna grab people with the spectacle, with, you know, old ass Royce Gracie fighting, and you're gonna hold them though with the solid, maybe slightly older fighters, like, you know, like Ben Henderson. You're gonna hold them like
Chris
that.
Lee was not solid anymore, man. That's not a good pickup for me.
I feel like with him and his style, he could have a little bit of a resurgence though.
I honestly don't like watching him fight anymore, only because he's been like that. He's gonna have CTE if he doesn't already have it right now. He's gonna have it because of his fight style, and I don't want to watch him just go in there and just tee off on anybody or just take shots anymore. Like, so I was not really happy with that. I'm like, I watched the fights for, you know, the brutality too, but like, you know, when you're going on and watching somebody fight for 10 years plus, you're just like,
right.
Oh man, like it's not as fun for me to watch somebody like that fight anymore. Ben Henderson though, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction for them though, and I like the to have both.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, and if you're gonna, you know, sort of kind of go WWE style at certain points, you got to balance that out with some real legitimate fighters, and I think that they can do that, and they have the potential to do that. I hope they go out and decide to, you know, go out and sign some more guys who are a little bit younger, a little bit more up and coming, and you know, really try to force their hand to be that number 2
right.
to UFC.
So just,
and I mean, but sorry to interrupt too.
No,
but the Dada 500 stuff or Dada 5000, and Kimbo's stuff, it's I hate to say it, but it's kind of growing on me. I watched their sort of like 8-minute documentary that they did, and I don't know if you saw that. It was pretty much it followed Dada 5000 around for a little bit, and I like I know you have written in our notes and stuff. I didn't know the background of them being like, you know, pretty close early on, and then sort of having this separation and sort of a situation come up because of their manager. But yeah, it's kind of growing on me. I'm kind of excited to see how that's gonna go down.
So we'll just quickly. So Dada, we'll just tell you guys. Like, I'm just like, ugh. All right, Dada was Kimbo's bodyguard back in the day. Kimbo started getting famous. Kimbo's manager didn't release videos that Dada 5000 wanted him to release to say, like, look, I'm out here doing some stuff too. He pretty much just went all Kimbo, which pissed off Dada 5000. He does have a 2-0 MMA record. He hasn't fought since 2011. Kimbo's coming off his win quote over Shamrock. That was controversial as hell.
Yeah.
I'm not like, once again, like I don't know, man. I just don't think either one of those two guys are very good. I don't think it's not an MMA fight to me. It's gonna just be like
backyard
brawls, which is gonna feel like kind of like Tank Abbott days, like early UFC days where like you just saw guys, you know, early Roy Nelson days where they just went out there like 200 or 300 pound guys or 280, whatever they're at, are just swinging away each other. I have Dada 5000 winning. Actually, I think he's gonna catch Kimbo. If it goes to the ground, I don't know.
They're both just gonna lay there.
Yeah, I don't know what either one is gonna do on the ground except just
get up.
Yeah, I don't see any of them being a threat to each other on the ground. So I just see like two turtles on their shells, like we just like go like this. Nobody does anything. So I kind of see Dada 5000 knocking out Kimbo. Just only because I think he's going into this a little more emotional, and I would say normally that wouldn't pan out well in an MMA fight because you got to be technical. But like in a street fight, emotions usually win. Yeah. A pissed off person that's more mad usually goes crazier on the other person, and it works if you're just throwing haymakers and pushing up against the cage and just roughing up. Like the more emotional person wins those types of fights.
And this isn't for a belt or anything, is it?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. If it turns into, you know, a good, you know, round and a half or maybe a round of Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and we get guys just swinging haymakers, it could be kind of fun.
This is where like the
it could be kind of
snob
fun.
in me comes out when I'm just like, you know, I really like the tech.
I would like to see technical fighters.
I do. I really want to make sip my tea from my coffee cup and watch some good technical fights. I think at this point in my life, I've earned it. I don't want to watch.
You got to drink your neon with your pinky up from here on out, bro.
It's fine with me, man. I'll drink it with two pinkies. So that's how I feel. But obviously, it's gonna be a fun fight. I just don't think it's necessary. I don't know. Whatever, man.
It could be a fun fight, or it could be horrible. Like it either way.
I don't actually think it's gonna be horrible at all.
No, my fear is that they gas out. Like we're gonna get like 40 seconds of like furious shit, and they're gonna gas out, and it's gonna be like stumbling around, swinging. It's
like two grizzly bears. Like
that's my fear. That's my fear. That's it though.
God.
That's it.
Yeah,
and that could happen. That could happen.
And then the main event too, Shamrock and Gracie. Gracie hasn't fought in 9 years. His last fight he won, but he tested positive for anabolic steroids. Obviously, Shamrock lost his last 2 fights. One of them being the controversial fight to Kimbo. Gracie and Shamrock. I mean, once again, like I guess I can't. I don't even know what to do with this fight either because either one wins. Doesn't matter. I'm surprised Gracie took this fight, honestly, because this is like something that Shamrock, we all know Shamrock, Kimbo, like Bellator's got these people that they're having rotate a little bit. Gracie though, man, I still feel like, you know, doing this kind of dampers the image of that he worked so hard to have. But he did come out of retirement to fight Matt Hughes in the UFC, and he looked terrible then, and that was,
a decade ago.
7 years ago. So I just don't think there's anything that he needs to do anymore. He should be focusing on other things and not. I don't think he needs to get paid. I'm not sure why he did this, and so I'm gonna watch it, but I don't care either, really.
Yeah, no, I don't really care either. It's less. I mean, what's the high point of this fight? Like, what's the best we could expect in this sort of fight?
Gracie choking out Shamrock, because that's a sweet meme.
That's his thing, yeah.
That's like a, or honestly, man, like Ken Shamrock getting like a heel hook on Gracie. So either one of those two guys finishing with their trademark move, which will be a cool picture of those two fighting. It's two legends fighting. I'm just never into legends fights. I don't ever get into them, and it doesn't say anything. It's probably because I respect the legends enough to where I don't want to see them fight anymore. Mm-hmm. So it says something to them, but that would be cool to see Shamrock winning via Shamrock fashion, or Gracie winning via, if Gracie wins by unanimous decision, judges, that's not what I want to see.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, the whole legend fight thing is not really appealing to me either. I don't necessarily understand it.
I understand.
I guess
it. I don't think it's necessary.
I don't understand it, because I feel like if that's one. Now, this is coming from somebody who has never fought. I've never been a real big time athlete. Played in high school, all that type of stuff. But to me, if you have these like legendary careers, and at a certain point, the fan in me wants to be able to preserve those memories, and they get tarnished. Like, everybody talks about how you don't remember Jordan when he was on the Wizards. No, I do. Like, I was a Bulls fan, still am, and everybody talks about all you're gonna remember is his last shot against Utah and his last shot in the Bulls uniform. No, I remember those days where he was hobbling, up and down the court for 35 minutes a game in a Washington Wizards jersey, and it was horrible. So I don't want to see Shamrock or Gracie have a horrible showing. Like, if they end up putting on a spectacular fight, I'll be more than shocked. But I have a feeling that it's just going to be something that's subpar, and we're going to walk away saying, like, man, we didn't really need that.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. This is not necessary.
Yep.
And that's why I said early on, I want what I watch to mean something for later. And if it doesn't, if it's just a fight, then that's not why I watch MMA, just to watch people fight. I watch MMA to watch careers be made and good fights be match made and things like that. So, me and you can pick two guys off the street and have them fight. And, So anyway, so that's Friday night. So Saturday night, World Series of Fighting 20. And I got to give it to World Series of Fighting, man. Doing some research, man. They've got the rest of the year locked down. Mm-hmm. They've got events all the way through November. So good for them for being that company that's just like right there, ready to break out. The bantamweight title's on the line. Marlon Moraes takes on Joseph Barajas. I've said this before, man. Moraes is someone I'd like for the UFC to pick up, man. Mm-hmm. I watch World Series of Fighting. I've got a few fighters that I like specifically, and Moraes is definitely one of them, man. He is so good. Kills people, man. And I'd like to see, and I don't know who Joseph Barajas is. So I want to see him coming into the UFC bantamweight division. Dude, you telling me him versus, the Cruzes and the Dillashaw's and the Babers and oh my God, man. I would love to see that happen. And UFC has picked up a few World Series of Fighting fighters. So, it'd be a big loss for World Series of Fighting. But they've, like you said before, they've got to know that they're that company that is getting people ready for the big time. Even though World Series of Fighting is the big time, it's not really. So he'd be somebody I'd love to see. But that, World Series of Fighting, NBC Sports Network, I've watched them all, and they're fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're
fun cards. Yep.
Nobody talks about them a whole lot. We're guilty too of not maybe talking about them as much as we should. But man, if you're not doing anything Saturday night, or you have some way to DVR it and watch it Sunday or Monday, man, make sure you do that. World Series of Fighting 20 Saturday night. And then make sure you leave room on your DVR if you can't watch this live. Sunday, man, February 21st, UFC Fight Night, Cowboy versus Cowboy. Winner gets the horse. All day, man. I was
Horses on the line, huh?
Horses on the line. The hats on the line. I was trying all day to think of something clever.
That's it. That was good.
Yeah, I was.
That was good. I like it.
I wanted something like, man, it's cowboy versus cowboy. It's awesome, man. Oliveira, Alex Cowboy Oliveira fights Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Oliveira's coming in off a 3-fight win streak. A knockout win, his last win in November. Performance of the night. Cowboy coming off a huge loss against Dos Anjos. This fight's gonna be the Cowboy's first at welterweight. I didn't really know a whole lot about Alex Oliveira before, researching a little bit, but man, I feel like I have him beating Cowboy.
Yep. That's kind of how I felt too. And especially with Cowboys switching weight classes, I always get a little bit nervous the first go around with something like that. So, yeah, I think he's gonna walk away the Cowboy winner. They should have like a gold hat or something that you get at the end of this fight. Like it's not for a belt or anything like that, but you should get like a cowboy hat.
Lasso. Like you win a lasso, a UFC lasso. A UFC Zo.
No. Time to get weird, folks. You already know what it is. Hashtag time to get weird.
Hashtag time to get weird. I tried it. That's the thing we do a lot, man. We try to combine words. They're fun to do.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes you get UFC Lasso. Get that. That was terrible. I'm sorry, fans. That you had to watch that. I'm sorry. I'll make up for it. So. Bantamweight, John Lineker, Cody Garbrandt. I said here, man, Garbrandt could be the new face of Team Alpha Male. He wants to be right now. I feel like Team Alpha Male has had some things go on this past few months, to say the least.
A little infighting?
So right now it's a time for a few of those guys that were just under, Dillashaw and Faber and all those guys. Now's their chance to come up. This guy is, dating, what's her name? I just drew a blank.
I don't know.
We just got beat by, oh man, this is terrible. We did this last week too. Paige Van Zandt.
Oh yeah.
Cody Garbrandt and Paige Van Zandt are dating. So I already, Cody Garbrandt is a marketable guy face. He looks like somebody that the UFC could get behind.
Right.
A win versus John Lineker. I'm a big John Lineker fan. I have Lineker winning this, but I feel like if Cody wins this, he will shoot to the top faster. So big chance for him to kind of get some waves under him. Featherweight fight, Dennis Bermudez. I'm a big fan of Bermudez. He's fighting Tatsuya Kawajiri. So here's what we're gonna end on today. Okay. Here's the future. Looking into the ball. UFC's crystal ball. So Bermudez and Kawajiri fight. Bermudez is coming off of 2 losses. So Brandon Thatch is also on this card. He's 0-2 in his last 2 fights. James Krause is also on this card. He's 1-2 in his last 3. Is this card UFC's way of trimming the fat? They've got all these guys that have 2 or 3 losses on. I think that this fight's going to go on Sunday, and Monday morning they're going to release their list of 20 fighters that got cut, and a few of the people on here are going to be on that list. I just think right now is the time where UFC's looking like they got a lot of stuff going on, coming up. They want to trim a little bit. And these cards I was looking at, I'm like, why are these are just, these records are not good. I think that, Brandon Thatch loses his 3rd one, cut. Yeah. I don't know, Bermudez loses his 3rd one, cut. I just think that's what we're gonna see. So that's my prediction, that Monday or Tuesday morning that we're gonna get that UFC cut list. And if these guys, these are good fights, but these are fighters that were good. Bermudez was really big at one point, not so much lately. Brandon Thatch, a lot of steam behind him at the beginning, not so much lately. James Krause, you and I have been big fans of, but not doing a lot lately. Right now, if you're not doing a lot in the UFC with all this stuff coming up,
And I feel like they have other fighters who could be more deserving of a push. So, yeah, I could definitely see that happen. Hadn't thought about that at all. But, yeah, looking at the matchups and how they're pitting some of these guys against each other, it definitely could end up seeing some of these guys, giving their walking papers at the beginning of that next week.
Yep. So that's Sunday night, Saturday night, Friday night fights. I just read it off like I was dyslexic. back to front.
Verbal dyslexic.
Verbal dyslexia. So a lot to do, man. A lot going on. Now's that time we said it's hashtag time to get weird, where we get done with the show and we don't just looking around like, what do we?
Yeah, what can we talk about?
No, Deadpool's coming out.
Deadpool. Yeah, let's talk about Deadpool. I want to see it.
I want to see it too. I'm gonna see it. So we're
See,
going to see
I told my wife that I would wait to see it with her, but the date that we picked was like later on in the month, so I'm gonna try to hold off. But like this dude knows me. Like, I will go at midnight by myself to go watch some shit. So it's gonna take everything in me to avoid watching this movie and to avoid spoilers. So I'm gonna try my best. But I got a feeling that I'm gonna call her up one night and just be like, babe, I had to go see it. Yeah, it looks incredible, man. Like, and people don't understand how big this is for rated R comic movies, man. Like, we need more of those. We need more stuff that appeals to us grown up folks.
Yeah.
So if this one does good and makes a lot of money, I think we're gonna see more of the edgier, kind of Daredevil, Punisher, Moon Knight, that sort of line of rated R type stuff. Blade, maybe another Blade movie.
A better Blade.
Yeah.
No, you know what though? I like those Blades. Those are rated R's.
They were.
Blade was R and I liked it.
But the third one was ridiculous.
The third one was terrible. It was that was really bad. I remember seeing that at the theater too.
Now we can get really weird. Who should be the new Blade? I got an idea.
Who should be the new Blade? I think it should be Michael Jordan.
Crying Jordan, maybe.
Who?
Crying Jordan.
Who's Crying Jordan?
Oh God! Just go to Twitter and do hashtag Crying Jordan, and you'll see him everywhere. But okay, Michael B. Jordan, though, you're saying?
Michael B. Jordan.
That could work.
Human Torch, I guess. So.
Yeah, that didn't count. That was horrible.
Yeah, and I don't know. He's got. No, he's not
I got a name.
Enough,
I got a name.
Say
Extra edgy. Extra edgy. Tyler Perry. As Blade / Medea. Bloodia.
Bloodia? Yes. Oh, yes. You redeemed us. Thank you, man. Bloodia. Tyler Perry presents Bloodia.
Could you just see him like dressed as Medea, but like with vampire fangs and shit?
Yep. Bloodia's Cave. There it is, man.
I think that works. Come on, Tyler. I know you watch, bro.
Tyler, listen.
Somebody tweet this out to him too. Just send it to him. I know he's on Twitter. We want you to be Blade. We're gonna start a campaign for you. GoFundMe. Yep. It's probably gonna be like 70 cents worth, but that'll get you started.
We'll get you.
We can make it happen.
$1.82. You do what you can do with that. You can't even buy the fake plastic fangs for $1.82, man.
And Blade always had the retractable fangs that just like popped when they came out. I like that, man.
I did, man. Daywalker was. I was just gonna lie and say that I used to want to be a vampire. I still want to be a vampire. And I'm old enough to know that it's not real, but I still want to be a vampire, man.
Vampire, yeah, that would be cool, man.
Yeah. So.
And do you notice that vampires never like attack ugly people? They always attack like cute girls. Like I couldn't be one of those vampires that like bit other dudes though. I always felt that was kind of weird.
I mean, if I'm a vampire, I'm eating everybody.
Kids,
just women, children, old people. Like I'm going in.
Everybody's game, huh?
Everybody, man. It's not personal.
Your eyes lit up when you said everybody. That kind of scares me. Like you thought about this. You have a list, don't you?
I want to be like feared. If I'm a vampire, like I want to be like not like the Twilight, like glitter one.
Yeah.
Like Bram Stoker's. Like you walk in, you just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This dude's going
I feel like you could like pale out and you could really pull that off.
I mean, there's a few pictures. I've been a vampire before for Halloween, and
I'm glad you said for Halloween.
Yeah, and yesterday night. and so speaking of going to the movies by yourself, so I went to the theater in full vampire by myself, and I got thrown out. It was stupid. Had a thing of popcorn with the bottom cut out. Like what? It's just going to see a movie by myself, dressed up as a vampire.
Yes.
No big deal.
No, it's not. It's not really that bad.
Leave me alone, movie theater. Yeah. So. I don't know, man. Excited about Deadpool. Hopefully I'm going to see it this week, next week. I want to see it as soon as possible. I'm not going to see it opening night. I don't personally do the opening nights, really.
Unless we go drunk.
Unless we go drunk, which was one of the most fun things to do. Spider-Man. Like to go see the new Spider-Man what, 3-4 shots, 2-3 beers in
Yep.
like 45
45 minutes, and then just go see the movie.
Go watch the movie, sit down, and then have all of it hit. Just like get ready for a 3-hour movie. Yeah, we gotta do that again, man.
I agree.
There's a lot
I
of movies
agree.
coming out this spring,
Oh, yeah,
summer,
we got a lot of
so
stuff to
pick
look
one
forward
and just
to.
go.
I think our vampire conversation qualifies for Time to Get Weird, so we can probably really end the show now.
All right, that's it, man. www.kickandmakeup is the website. Yeah, we get serious now. Like, all right, now back to what was
Serious MMA talk.
it? Why did I even
www.
switch the tone too? www.kickandmakeup is the website. Kick and Makeup Facebook page, at Kick and Makeup is the Twitter, at Hybrid MMA is mine, Instagram, YouTube. Bop, 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 bop. I always say bop, 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 even though we go through everything. That's like bop, bop, bop.
We're everywhere, though.
American Hybrid Nick Cunningham, Jeremy J.D. Dorsey. Remember, don't solve it in the streets, take it to the cage and Kick and Makeup.
Slap.
I see, I held it and came in.
Wow. Slap elbow, huh?
No, slebo.
Slebo.